Okay, so I made a longer video where I express anger while I'm fumed, and you know, they do things in a way for to make it harder for my brain to kind of communicate to itself, right? You know, the synaptic receptors and the neurons and blah 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 blah, right? It made it harder for my brain to function to express anger. So a bunch of rapists and pedophiles and their allies can pretend that they're bad. Stupid, right? I mean, that's their spirit, that's their way of thinking. So when we look at this thing, right, you know, they're changing my voice. They try to make it so I sound crazy because no matter how much their kids get raped, no matter how much their women get raped, no matter how much the country goes to hell, no matter how much their families go to hell, they think the answer is that they can make it so I magically seem crazy, that magically their lives get better. I mean, these people are fucking insane. And so when you look at the fact that there's more than one tire marks on the driveway, right? And if you look carefully, I'm going to have other pictures, you can see that they kind of drove in circles with the smaller vehicle for whatever reason. And the bigger vehicle, they took their sweet time and it's marking up. There's no way that these people were missing that they're marking up the road. And someone said it was maybe it was the fire department, right? And as we look at this thing, why didn't they attempt to contact us on the way out, for example? Okay? So you know that they're fucking with us. You see what I'm saying? You know that they were raised wrong. You know that the government, even the fucking fire department, doesn't have the sense, doesn't have the basic human sense and humanity to take responsibility for what they did. They disrespected the Son of God. My father's humanitarian and brain surgeon because they were born in some racist white trailer park or something. I don't know where they were born, but that's what the evidence suggests. I'm sure we can agree that their families were some kind of drunk, beat their wives or something, some kind of very trashy people without sense. Okay, so when we look at the tire marks, we see it's more than one that leaves the mark. It's not just one fire truck or something. It was also some kind of, you know, smaller vehicle that's doing donuts or something on the property. Okay, now we don't know for sure it's the fire department. Okay, we're reviewing the evidence, the camera evidence. You know, my whole street is a zone where they take video recordings, and we could kind of narrow it down. We're reviewing the evidence right now. Okay, but we know that it has to do with Western cultures. The fire department, like the government, is full of people who listen to various types of music, classical, rock, what have you. It's all Western culture. The answer to gang stalking, I promise you, does not lie in Western culture. Gang stalking comes from Western culture. It's an agreement of people that control Western culture. Surfers, skaters, rockers, jocks, emos, you name it. Police officers, militia, white supremacists, Jewish supremacists, LGBT. That's where it comes from. You can't go to the Klan to help you solve a problem that comes from the Klan. You have to highlight the sickness that exists in that grouping of cultures. And if you're paying attention, you know which culture I refer to, which grouping of cultures. And obviously the rich are the most guilty. The old who's in charge here anyway? Who's social engineering? Who's with the urban planning and urban development? Who's responsible for zoning? Who's responsible for allocation of funds and for making sure that money isn't mismanaged? I even wrote the internal affairs. What kind of monsters from a long line of monsters are in charge of the West? You're forced to ask yourself that question. Are you not? All the genocide, all the rape, all the enslavement, what kind of monsters are in charge of the cultures? And I'm sure we can all agree that it's fair to ask what kind of monsters are proud to be in a Western culture when every last one of them has failed to the extreme. To the extreme. Are cowboys manning up? No, not a single one manning up in sight. Nowhere, no how. Is there some kind of lethal weapon police officer saying, I quit, or filing a report and rallying? No, nowhere, no how. Military, no, tail tucked. Militia, tail tucked. Constitutionalists, tail tucked. Emos, jocks, you name it. Every single Western culture has failed you. Where indigenous cultures have failed, it has to do with where they have accepted Western culture. Look around, think carefully, you'll see that I'm right.